All right, let's dive in. We're taking a close look at those Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses everyone's talking about. You sent over a ton of info from their website, so we're going to break it all down today. The features, how they work, and maybe even like what it all means for the future of wearable tech, you know?
Yeah, the whole wearable tech scene is really exploding right now, and this
Wow.
this partnership, it's interesting. Ray-Ban's classic style with all of Meta's tech power. I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. And right off the bat, their website is totally holiday-fied. Gift cards, same-day pickup, tons of discounts. They're going all in on that holiday shopping rush.
Smart move, right? It's not just selling glasses. It's about that whole gift-giving feeling. And did you notice those Wayfarer Meta glasses are front and center? Definitely not an accident.
Totally. Up there, like the star of the show. Makes me think Ray-Ban's betting big on smart glasses being the hot gift this year. What do you think? Is this a fad or is there something more here?
I think it's more than a fad. You see it everywhere in tech, this push to blend the digital and physical world. Smart glasses are like the next logical step.
Okay, let's get into the details then. The website lists all these cool features: AI capabilities, a 12 MP camera for photos and videos, and get this, an open-ear speaker system.
That open ear audio thing, it's not just a gimmick. They're claiming it's got great sound, even with bass, even if it's noisy around you. That's tough to do, from an engineering perspective.
Yeah. I'd love to try them out, see how they actually work in real life. But it seems like they're really aiming for that hands-free experience, being connected and in the know without always being on your phone.
Exactly. And they've thought about how you control them too. Voice commands, a touchpad on the side. Plus, the battery's supposed to last 4 hours, and you get 8 extra charges with the case, so potentially you could use them all day.
They also have this Metaview app. Looks like it's for managing the glasses, getting tutorials, even adding those cool augmented reality effects to your photos and videos before you share them.
That app is key. It's like the connection between the hardware, the glasses themselves, and the software that makes them really work. Like the difference between, say, a really basic phone and a smartphone. The hardware is only the beginning, the software unlocks everything.
And here's something I really like. They offer prescription lenses for these Meta glasses. That's huge. It opens them up to so many more people. People who need vision correction can still get in on the smart glasses thing.
Right. It's not just for tech people anymore. It's fashion and function together, reaching a much wider audience. And that's smart because to really succeed, a product like this has to appeal to everyone.
And they've made getting a prescription super easy. You can type it in, upload a file, even text it to them. Plus, they take most insurance, and they partnered up with LensCrafters and Target Optical. So lots of choices for eye exams and getting help with your prescription.
They're knocking down any barriers, which is so important with a brand new technology.
For sure, it seems like they're really trying to make the whole thing as user-friendly as possible.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, some people are going to be hesitant with this kind of tech. There's a learning curve.
Definitely. It's a whole new way to experience the world. So the easier it is to use, the more likely people are to give it a try.
Okay, so we've covered the basics, the features, the tech specs, but now let's get to some of the bigger questions. We're talking about a device that has a camera, a microphone, AI. It's gathering information all the time, right? So what about privacy?
You've hit the nail on the head. That's the big one. And I'll give them credit. Ray-Ban addresses it head on in their FAQs. They've got a whole section just on data privacy and security.
Interesting. So what are they saying? What kind of assurances are they giving people?
Well, they focus a lot on being transparent. They explain what data they collect, how they use it, what they use it for. For example, they're very clear that user data is only accessed when it's needed for specific features, like voice commands or those AI suggestions.
So they're acknowledging that they are collecting data, but they're trying to be open about how they use it. Do they give users any control over their data? Like, can you opt out of some of the features?
Yes, they do talk about user control and consent. You can choose to limit data collection or opt out of certain features entirely. They even highlight the Metaview app's role in managing all those settings. Basically, they're giving the control to the user.
That's good to hear. But even with all that, I bet some people will still be a little uneasy. Having a device that's always collecting information can feel, well, kind of intrusive.
I get it. It's a personal decision. Everyone has to weigh the pros and cons for themselves. But the key takeaway here is we have to be informed consumers. We need to understand the technology, ask the tough questions. We can't just accept new tech without thinking about what it means.
Absolutely. So with all that said, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about the website, the features, the privacy concerns, but what about the bigger picture? What do these Ray-Ban Meta glasses say about where wearable tech is going? Are we all going to be wearing these things in a few years?
It's hard to say for sure. but it's definitely possible. As the tech gets better and becomes more integrated into our lives, it's likely to be everywhere, just like, think about it. Smartwatches were a novelty a few years ago, right? Now you see them everywhere.
That's true. And smart glasses could be even more game-changing. Think beyond just everyday stuff, like communication and entertainment. Imagine them being used in healthcare, education, even art and design. The possibilities are kind of endless.
The possibilities are huge, yeah. But like you said, it raises a lot of big questions. It's not just about the technology, it's how we use it and how it affects society as a whole.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've looked at the Ray-Ban Meta glasses from every angle, the tech details to the bigger questions they bring up. But there's still more to explore. When we come back, we'll dive into the customer support resources Ray-Ban provides.
We'll also look at what the website says about in-store services and the potential benefits of actually talking to an expert face-to-face.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
So, you know how important I think good customer support is? It looks like Ray-Ban's really put some effort into it. I mean, their FAQ section on the website, it's really thorough.
Yeah, I was impressed by that. They cover all the basics like buying and shipping, but then they also go into more specific stuff like warranties, returns, even how to connect to your phone. Oh, and they're really clear about where the glasses can be bought and shipped to. It seems like they only work in certain countries and regions right now.
That's good. Those little details matter. Especially with newer tech, people might be a little unsure, so that kind of transparency can build trust. And it's not just online help either. They really highlight their in-store services.
Yeah, they're pushing that personal touch for sure. Setup assistance, eye exams, help after you've bought them, the whole deal. And they emphasize that they accept most insurance plans. Plus, they've got these partnerships with LensCrafters and Target Optical, so people have even more ways to get their eyes checked and handle those prescriptions.
It's a smart move. For a lot of people, especially with something like their vision, talking to a real person, an expert, can make a big difference. It just feels less intimidating than trying to figure everything out online.
They even walk you through how to return them, either by mail or taking them back to a store. Plus, there's a manufacturer warranty, so that gives you a little extra peace of mind. It seems like they're trying to cover all the bases.
It's all about making the customer feel good about their purchase, confident that they're taken care of. You know, this kind of brings us back to something we touched on earlier, that whole data privacy thing. With all this talk about seamless integration and personalized support, how does Ray-Ban deal with those concerns about a device that's always collecting data?
Right, that's the big question, isn't it? We talked about the camera, microphone, the AI. Do they even address those potential privacy risks?
They do. In fact, they have a whole section in their FAQs that deals with it directly. They emphasize transparency, explaining exactly what data is collected, how it's used, and why. For instance, they say that user data is only accessed when it's needed for a specific feature, like if you use a voice command or one of those AI suggestions.
So they're not hiding the fact that they collect data,
Yeah.
but they're trying to assure users that they handle it responsibly. Do they give users any control over their data? Like, can you choose to opt out of certain features if you're worried about privacy?
Yeah, they do mention user control and consent. You can choose to limit how much data they collect or opt out of some features entirely. They even point out that the Metaview app lets you manage all those settings, so you have more control over your own data.
Okay, that's good to hear. But even with all those options, I could see some people still feeling a little weird about wearing something that's constantly gathering information. It's like a trade-off, right? You get convenience and all these cool features, but maybe you give up some of your privacy.
I think that's a valid concern. And to be honest, there's no easy answer. It's a personal choice. Everyone has to weigh the benefits against the risks. The important thing is we all need to be aware of what those risks are. We need to be informed consumers, ask questions, don't just blindly accept new tech without thinking about the consequences, you know?
I think that's a really important point. It's not about being against technology. It's about being informed and making conscious choices about what we let into our lives. But let's switch gears for a second. We've talked a lot about the specifics, but what about the bigger picture? Where do these Ray-Ban Meta glasses fit into the whole evolution of wearable tech?
That's where things get really interesting. Remember when smartwatches first came out? A lot of people thought they were just a fad, but now they're everywhere. Smart glasses could be on a similar path. As the technology keeps getting better, the prices come down, it's not hard to imagine a future where they're just as common as smartphones are now.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about all the potential uses. We talked about the everyday stuff, staying connected, entertainment. But imagine using them in things like healthcare, education, even art and design.
The possibilities are pretty much endless. Imagine a surgeon using them to see a patient's vital signs during an operation, or an architect walking through a virtual model of a building. Our imagination is the only limit, really.
It's exciting and a little bit scary at the same time,
Right.
right? This kind of technology could completely change how we live, work, interact with everything.
It really could. And that's why it's so important to have these discussions now. We need to think critically about what this technology means, the good and the bad.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, from the specific features of the Ray-Ban Meta glasses to these big questions about the future of wearable tech. But as always, there's more to explore.
When we come back, we'll wrap up our deep dive with some final thoughts. And we'll leave you with some questions to think about as you decide if these glasses might be right for you.
All right, we're back. Wrapping up our deep dive into these Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. We've covered the features, the tech, even some big picture stuff about privacy in the future, right?
Right. We've thrown a lot of information out there, but what does it all really mean?
Yeah, that's the question. What are the key takeaways here?
Okay, here's what I think, and you listening out there, I want you to think about this too. These glasses, they're not just a fancy gadget. They're like a window into how we might interact with the world, not that far off in the future. It's almost like holding a piece of tomorrow.
I like that it's not just the glasses themselves, it's what they represent, this whole idea of the physical and digital world blurring together. And that's only going to keep happening.
Right, exactly. And as that happens, we've got to think about how we adapt, how we balance convenience with our privacy. How do we make sure this kind of technology is used responsibly? Those are big questions.
So for everyone listening, here's the big question for you. Would you wear Ray-Ban Meta glasses? What gets you excited about them? What makes you think twice?
There's no right or wrong answer. It's a personal thing, whatever feels right for you. But it's a conversation worth having, right? It's bigger than just a pair of glasses. It's about the kind of future we're all building.
And that's what we've tried to do here today. Not just give you the facts, but spark your curiosity, get you thinking critically so you can make your own informed choices.
Whether you jump in head first or you approach it cautiously, the important thing is to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, that's it. This technology is here to stay. It's going to shape our world in ways we can't even imagine yet. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep the conversation going. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. Hey, you made it to the end of the episode.
Yeah, congrats. You're officially part of the club now.
The Deep Dive Club. We don't have jackets or secret handshakes yet, but
Maybe someday.
seriously, it does mean something to make it all the way here.
To the end of the episode.
Exactly. It means you're not just casually interested in AI, you're
really digging in.
wanting to understand the nuances, the real
There's
potential,
challenges too.
all of it. So
Yeah.
we want to celebrate you, the listener.
You're the reason we do this.
Really, you are.
Mm.
And today's,
Deep dive.
this deep dive is really about celebrating you and your role.
In this whole AI revolution that's happening.
Because it is a revolution, no doubt.
Our
But
revolutions need people
they need people to participate, to shape them, to make sure they
in
hit.
the right direction.
Exactly. And that's where you come in, our amazing listeners.
So where are we getting this idea from?
Right. So this whole deep dive is inspired by,
Well, remember at the end of our last discussion on AI, we had this,
it wasn't really a debate, more of a,
kind of a back and forth about the future of AI tools.
and we ended it with, I guess you'd call it.
A call to action.
Yeah. That's it. We wanted to encourage listeners to get involved in the conversation,
Yeah.
to share their,
Thoughts, experiences, anything really.
because it's not just about us talking at you,
It's about building something together.
and that something is a future where AI is used for good,
A future where it benefits everyone.
not just a select few.
Okay, so maybe you're listening right now thinking,
Like, okay, I get that. Sounds great. But how do I actually do that?
right, it's a big question.
It is, but it's easier than you might think. Like literally right now,
You're doing one of the most important things,
just by being here, listening.
but there's more you can do.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you talk
So
about?
the comment section down below.
It may seem simple, but that's a powerful tool right there.
Yeah. Tell us what you thought of today's deep dive.
Anything that stood out.
Or maybe something we said made you think, wait a minute, what about...
We want to hear those wait a minute moments.
Yeah. And also, if you've already started using some AI tools out there,
Oh, tell us about that.
what's been your experience? What's working? What's driving you crazy?
Because honestly, your insights can be incredibly helpful.
Not just for us, but for other listeners who are just starting to...
Dip their toes into the AI waters.
And you know what? Developers and policymakers, they're listening too.
Really, they are. This isn't just some tech bubble conversation anymore.
What real people are saying about AI, about how it's affecting their lives.
That's what's going to shape the future of this technology.
So don't hold back. Share your experiences, your ideas, your hopes, your concerns.
Ask questions, debate with each other in the comments.
It all matters. It all contributes to making sure we're all heading in the
right direction, together.
Okay, and one last thing before we go.
Shoot.
If you found this deep dive, I don't know, maybe thought-provoking?
Or even just entertaining.
Hopefully a little bit of both, right?
Right.
Don't keep it to yourself. Share it.
Yeah. Spread the word. Hit that like button.
Tell your friends, your family, your coworkers.
Anyone who you think needs to be part of this conversation.
And of course, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on
future deep dives.
because we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah. We're going to keep exploring all the different facets of AI.
The practical stuff, the ethical
And
dilemma.
sometimes even the just plain weird stuff.
Because let's face it, AI is pretty weird sometimes.
Ah,
But it's also,
incredible.
it's exciting.
And it's powerful.
And we're all in this ride together, like it or not.
So the more we can learn about AI, talk about it openly, and help shape its development.
The better off we'll all be. That's the bottom line.
Absolutely. Your willingness to learn, to share, to engage.
It might feel small, but it's making a difference. Trust me.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, keep diving deep.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
See you there.